everyone. Good evening and welcome. Thank you, delegates and panelists, for joining this session before time. My name is Megha Iyer, Associate Editor of B2B Purchase Magazine, and we welcome you to an interactive procurement series on safe and speedy project operations with Access Equipment Solutions. I welcome Mr. Nitish.
Thank you, Megha. India has emerged as a significant market in infrastructure development activities, but the use of technologically advanced access equipment is still very low compared to other similar markets. Access equipment is used in applications where there is a need to access heights and to carry workers to perform various jobs at a height. The significant application of access equipment vary from construction and maintenance of infrastructure projects such as bridges, elevator metro projects, factories, airports, commercial buildings, and towers to industrial and engineering projects. Delegates, it's an honor for me to introduce you our distinguished panelists, Mr. Souma Ray, Director, HAULOTTE India Private Limited, Ms. Bharti Gokhale, Director, Dynamic Crane Equipment Limited, Mr. Vijay Singh, Business Head, Aerial Work Platform, Gemini Power Hydraulics Power Limited. To start with our panel discussion on safe and speedy project operations with Access Equipment Solutions, I want to invite Ms. Megha to join us for this session.
Thank you, Nitish. Mr. Ray, my first question to you is following your presentation where you spoke about market and the range of equipments. My question is, the Indian government is presently investing heavily in the infrastructure and construction. So what steps is the access equipment industry taking to address the required availability of access equipment? And do you think that there might be a shortage?
That yes, the Indian government is investing heavily. You have the Bharat Mala and the Sagar Mala and different projects which are happening, which is a very good sign. But these are projects which are more concerned with the construction industry in terms of road development, in terms of waterways, and for access equipment industry, the infrastructure development in terms of road, in terms of bridges, in terms of airports, in terms of metro is where the main construction activity happens, where access equipment are generally used, right? If you look at the India access equipment market, I was looking at one of the questions, some of our, some anonymous attendee has put, what is the access equipment market? I have been in this industry for the last 10 years, more than 10 years now. And Bharti and even Vijay would agree to me. We are still a very, very small market. If you look at the market size last year, there were about 500 odd new machines which came. That includes all truck-mounted, crawler, push-around, manual scissors, and about 625 used machines. So your market size is about 1,100 machines. And that has not grown. If I look at what it was 10 years back, it used to be 200 new machines or 150 new machines that has come to 500 now. So the growth has not been exponential. The biggest lacuna, Megha, to answer your question is, unless we have a legislation from the government wherein it promulgates use of access equipment in different projects, the change is not going to come. Manufacturers are there. Okay, we are all facing a supply chain crisis across the world. Deliveries are delayed. But yes, manufacturers will come forward and do that extra bit if the demand increases. Unfortunately, the demand of access equipment hasn't increased. India predominantly still remains the end user market for us manufacturers when it comes to new equipment purchase. It is always an end user driven. Even Bharti also mentioned about it. The rental companies predominantly buy pre-owned equipment or used equipment at any age of any size, because you can import any machines into India. Things have changed. I'm not saying that every rental company does that. Things have changed. People have got newer machines in there, but it's nowhere close to what is there in the matured markets of AWP, wherein the rental companies drive the volume requirement, drive the requirements in terms of fleet expansion, in fleet redemption, which will happen. So yes, government is spending, but I strongly believe things can only change when we have a law in place to work safely at height. I would want my other esteemed panelists to throw their thoughts on this also.
Yeah, it looks like we also received many questions like what Mr. Ray was saying, that a couple of questions directly addressed to the Chinese competition and the kind of equipments we are getting in India. And can you address the question directly, how to overcome Chinese competition as they are selling at a lower price with fast delivery and lead time in India? Mr. Vijay Kumar, you are directly in the market. Yes.
Yeah. See, I mean, firstly, we have to understand that why Chinese products are cheaper. Where that comes from? Firstly, it comes from, of course, economy of a scale is one part. But even much smaller Chinese companies, they are also suppose. So point here is that firstly the components what they use, and I think Soma will also agree with you. Suppose if somebody is using Trojan batteries, Danfoss hydraulics, these world-class suppliers, then certainly it will add to cost. Second is the life cycle service, and most important is the warranty service. Even if a 5 lakh rupees component fails in HAULOTTE, I think I can always go to him, and if it is a failure, I am very sure that he will be there. For them, it is sell and forget. I'm not telling for everybody, there could be some genuine supplier, but that is where they reduce them. So that is part one. Part two is, yes, in some lighter duty work, that machine can work. Way is to ward off that Chinese competition, is to talk about the values, what it can, what this product can offer. You can also think of some extended warranty terms, some additional services terms, and best is your customer voice.
Mr. Vijay, you are directly addressing the procurement challenges for access. Ms. Bharti, would you like to add anything to this? I mean, what kind of procurement challenges this industry face when it comes to buying access equipment?
Yeah, as Mr. Vijay rightly mentioned, that there is Chinese machines and how we can counter those proposals. What I say is this market is a nascent stage in India. The market is going to grow. It has to grow. And for growing this market, I'll park this part later, that how we can grow this market and what needs to be done. But for Chinese, countering the Chinese machine, see, there is market for low priced product also. So there will be always a class of buyer who's going to buy for the cheapest one, irrespective of whether it is European or Chinese or it is used machine. Because today, people like operators and mechanics are buying machines. So your buyer is right from multinational company to a small rental who's a owner rental company. So he's going to be there. And for him managing this equipment, it is Chinese products, some Chinese products, not all, but some Chinese products have problems, like they don't have spare part support, they don't have even the diagnosis or troubleshooting. Nothing is there. Once you buy the machine, you just forget it, and there's no support at all. It is a capital equipment, so by buying we should take all the precautions. But definitely Chinese machines are going to stay here because there is buyer for that. So we have to see where our product is going to be. Like Audi is also getting sold and Alto is also getting sold. So there is buyer for both the machines and they're genuine buyers. So similarly, it will be there. Now we have to, one thing our government and we have to focus is how this machine is getting more and more popular and people are using it, because this is finally going to help operating your sites with safety. Because even if you fall from 3 meters, the accident can be fatal. So like Mr. Souma mentioned, that there is international rule that above 3 meters, you should use these access platforms. Ladders and scaffolds are not allowed. For this, making this equipment popular to use, we have to work around the ecosystem. The ecosystem comprises of, one is the availability of machine. Second is availability of trained operators. So for that, many people, IPF is there, Aerial Platform Owners Association is doing, even government is putting in efforts, but those efforts are not enough, because every machine is operator, whether it is operator is provided by the rental company or it is operator, you are doing dry lease or wet lease, because in India, there is no dry lease. We have to give machine with operator. There are a number of reasons. Because I prefer to give with operator, because at least somebody is there to take care of my machine. I don't trust anybody who's taking my machine and giving it back in same condition. Then there is one more condition. We are building these roads, but the condition of roads are, we don't have, those conditions where these, when we are traveling, we are, transporting this machine from location A to location B, due to vibrations, many a times we face problems. Once the machine reaches there, immediately we have to send a mechanic over there. This is because of road conditions. So we have to have road which are worthy of traveling such equipment. These are sophisticated equipment. So we call it heavy equipment or material handling equipment, but finally these are very sophisticated equipment and it needs a smooth transport. Thirdly, we don't have trailers. Like in developed countries, you see trailers with ramps. So these machines on their own, they climb and they go on the ramp. And the trailer is transporting these machines. But in India, we have to bring crates. So we have to lift these machines, load it on the trailer, and then it goes. So one more cost factor is there. So see, to make this machine popular, we have to work on in 360 degree. Everything has to be taken care. Then only people will use it. In Singapore is of the size of Pune city, not even Pune district, and it has got around 10,000 access platforms. Just see the number, 10,000 in Singapore alone, because it is very popular. I've seen a single person is moving 80 feet machine. Within half an hour, it is reaching from one point of Singapore to other point of Singapore. He's coming there. Trailer has come. He's only driving the trailer. He's getting down, making the ramp, coming down, then loading the machine. Machine is strapped properly, then he is only sitting in the driver's cabin and taking the machine. We cannot do like this. We have got so many things. Loading is a big operation over here. So once we take care of all these things, and it needs contribution from everybody, right? From manufacturer, government, the rental company, the user, everybody.
Yeah, it is very sensible that you mentioned about the barriers or for access to have access equipment, especially in terms of transport. Very well addressed. Thank you so much. So you were mentioning about in your presentation about the need for access equipment for high rises or large projects. And what kind of challenges you see or opportunities you see for access equipments, because we now witness so many projects coming up for high rise buildings as well as large projects in metros and mini metros in India.
Honestly, across the world, when you see the use of access equipment, the basic concept is same. You need access equipment to work at height. Okay. So it's not only for safety, it is for productivity. In India, specifically, whenever there is major big projects which are coming up, high rises and all, we still find a lot of scaffolding and even bamboo scaffolding being used. And you talk to any builder, they will be doing that because that is the cheapest. Because again, economies of scale, right? That is the cheapest thing which is available. So coming back, opportunities are immense. There is no dearth of opportunities when it comes to use access equipment, because it not only provides safety, it increases productivity. We as manufacturers and all the rental companies together, we are trying to create that awareness that look, if you want to complete your project in time, if you have timelines to meet, use such equipment because it helps you to work faster. But unfortunately, the awareness has grown. I wouldn't say awareness has not grown. That's why you would see a lot of these machines. 10, 15 years back, you would hardly see access equipment. But today you see a lot of equipment. Times are changing. But like, again, I'll come back to the pertinent question. Where's the legislation? If you have legislations in terms from the National Safety Council to work at height, then people will be pushed towards using such equipment. And that is when the popularity will increase. What Bharti said some time back is very true. Singapore is as the size of Pune, even smaller than it. It has over 12,000 machines. What is the installed capacity of fleet in India? It is not even 7,500. I'm talking about working machines, despite the size of our country. So opportunity is immense, but it is not happening because we do not have, a direction given by the government to use such equipment, unfortunately.
Thank you so much, Mr. Ray. That was very, for sharing your observation with us. Ms. Bharti, I would like to understand from you that how are these challenges changing the buying, renting and the leasing pattern for various projects?
See, today conventionally what is there is, it is not project wise, leasing is not project wise. Rental companies are buying, keeping in their fleet, and then they are providing as and when they get the inquiry. So still hire purchase model is not there. We tried to work out that model, that hire purchase model. We did this with TVH Belgium. We did that. We purchased few machines from there on hire purchase, and that was payment period was 24 months. and then last invoice, so higher purchase was, but it was not lucrative offer. The thing is that rate of interest and the finance available is very costly in India, and there is no payment cycles are also very stiff. So renting is very risky business today. If you see, your anything will happen or your money will get stuck. So today there is no support to rental companies from neither from bank, neither from government nor from the suppliers. The supplier are also there is payment terms or the leasing facility. Very few suppliers are giving, and that also you get this thing in foreign currency. So again, cost of hedging comes into picture. Okay, slowly now, if once these equipment are getting manufactured in India, definitely scenario will change. Now with JCB coming into picture, we are giving all the finance facilities to our buyers. There are a number of banks who are providing finance facilities. So definitely now leasing or hire purchase is definitely going to come, at least from JCB, because it is coming in India. It is not possible to get this facility from say France or USA or from any because I have tried this calculations and everything. I had taken this hire purchase 24 months. I was carrying the loan in euro. So by the time my last installment went, the euro rate increased. So hedging, if I do hedging, again the benefit was not there. So there is lot is to be done in this financially. But very beautiful models can be built if any bankers or manufacturers come together. And their support will be needed if we want to push these machines into market.
Definitely, very well mentioned, Ms. Bharti, and thank you for explaining the higher purchase model also that you are trying to work on. Coming to Mr. Vijay, what would you like to add to what Ms. Bharti just mentioned?
If you look at globally, I mean, this industry is served by the rental companies. I mean, even if you look at the United Rentals, they're far bigger than many companies. United Rentals, Luxem Germany, Polis Amsterdam. So this is how the worldwide the trend goes. But I think it may take some time in India, because as you have seen, like Ola has become so popular in last 3-4 years, because people are looking even at the parking option, other parts of it. But eventually, leaving the corporates and government sector, the rental companies will finally, they will have the larger share of the market.
Thank you so much for addressing that, Mr. Vijay. Mr. Ray, can I request you to make a closing statement for this session, sir?
Yeah, thanks, Megha. Thanks to B2B Purchase. Thanks to you, to Nitin and your team for organizing such a wonderful session. As a manufacturer, as a global manufacturer, this gives us an opportunity to come and interact with various, customers, the decision makers, the users. It gives us a platform to say our word. End of the day, we are trying to promote AWP. We are trying to promote safe solutions. That is the objective. These are wonderful equipments. These are equipments which are used worldwide, and they save life. Even if in India, unfortunately, the cost of life may be not considered important, but yes, it is life, and we value life. So as any manufacturer, any part of the world, as any user, as any rental company who is using the machines and giving it on payment, it is very important that we all get together to ensure that more and more such equipment are used when it comes to working at height. I think it's a long way ahead. Things should have been much more better in the last 1 decade, but let's not lose hope. I think we should be optimistic. I think the times ahead are exciting, and we would certainly see India also catapult the way China we have seen happening in the last 5-6 years. So India cannot be far behind this. Okay, that's what I'd like.
Absolutely, sir. Thank you so much for sharing such an optimistic view, especially in today's time where we are shifting from one pattern to another pattern. Thank you, delegates and panelists. It was a privilege to have you on board today for this discussion. And thank you so much for sharing your interactive and insightful views with us today. Going ahead, I request Mr. Nitish to close the session.
Thank you, panelists, for sharing your valuable thoughts on safe and speedy project operations with Access Equipment Solution. We hope you all have enjoyed the session. Before wrapping up, we would like to thank our distinguished panelists, Mr. Souma Ray, Ms. Bharti Gokhale, and Mr. Vijay Kumar. I would also like to thank our associate editor, Ms. Megha Iyer, and our editor, Mr. Prasad Nayak, for taking this initiative. You can follow our social media pages to get more updates from B2B Purchase Also, our application is available on Google Play and App Store for enhanced reading. So with this, we would like to announce the closing of today's session. Kindly stay tuned for more such sessions. Thank you.